Alright, we're going to talk about Ninja Turtles. So this episode's called Mikey Gets Shellized. It's basically where Mikey has a bunch of turtle zits, and he has to figure out why. And it's revealed that they're actually zits that are going to cause him to explode, and so he has to find a way to cure himself, basically. And so I like the opening where it opens with the turtles having breakfast. Like, I always wondered, how did they get food? We just never know. We could just assume they find it in the sewer, and then, they're like wondering where Mikey is when their breakfast goes fiasco, and then we also see the Ninja Turtle mask on Mikey's skateboard, so we can honestly see a glimpse of what he looks like without his mask. I know later in the show they do reveal what they look like without their mask, but that's for future reviews. I'll definitely talk about it. And so Mikey then wakes up to seeing zits on him, and he freaks out, and he's just like, I'm a mutant. And Leo's like, he's just realizing that now? That was a funny line. And so Mikey shows him what's going on, and then they of course make fun of him, and Leo's just like, oh, it's part of being a teenager. But then Donnie says it might be serious, but then Mikey hides, and then Raph tries to get him out and says sorry for making fun of him, but he eventually does say he's too hideous to be a ninja, but he does come out eventually, and it's revealed that there's zits that might cause him to explode. But then Splinter gets suspicious about Mikey, of what happened. He even tells Raph to not make fun of one's appearance. And it's revealed that Mikey used this mutagen Donnie had that basically caused him to get these zits. And he was using it for retro mutagen. The turtles freak out and wonder why he did it. And so I think then Mikey says, like, it's trying to make him look cooler, but because he's tired of getting made fun of. But it just didn't work out. And I just love it where Donnie says, it says super cool, but Donnie tells him, like, it's meant for temperature, and it says all the danger labels, and Mikey's just like, it's not that clear. Mikey clearly didn't bother looking at the bottle at all. Like, he didn't notice the other labels on the back. Donnie should have just had it on the front, but that probably wouldn't be the reason for the plot of the episode. So, meanwhile, looks like Shredder's still in Japan or whatever, and Cry's still in charge, and she's looking for another henchman, and she gets Dog Pound and Fish Paste to look for Baxter Stockman. And by the way, this could be the last appearance of when we see Chris Bradford in his Dog Pound form. Like, as we can see later in this episode, I'll talk about it. So I think the Turtles and Dog Pound all meet up. Well, they didn't. They all ran into each other, basically. The Turtles are looking for this thing called the centrifuge or whatever. And even Mikey finds, like, various objects that he thinks what it could be, but Donnie's just like, no, it isn't. But then they find Baxter Stockman's also there when they're at the TCR building. And then I just love the part where they say Dexter, Black Boy, and then it's still this running gag where they get Baxter's name wrong on purpose, and then Baxter freaks out, and then he's just like, oh, and then Dog Pound jumps in, and he just comes out of nowhere. It's just like, I thought I was having a bad day. And even Dog Pound's looking for Baxter to cure him for his mutation. And I think they do take the centrifuge, and Dog Pound did, and Baxter. And so he takes him to his old lab. But the Turtles try looking for a way to find them. They suspect, but Mikey's just like, maybe he's at Baxter's old lab, and then they're just like, no. And Mikey is like really worried about his zits. But then he decides to just go confront Dog Pound and himself, and then it's revealed that Baxter's planning to make mutagen, and then it's like a giant tank, and they put this like collar on Baxter, which becomes relevant later this season. And it's basically, if Baxter disobeys, they press it, and then they'll see. And I just love it where Dog Pound's like, we'll see what you turn into. That Mikey finds the centrifuge. He does find Baxter's old lab, but then he tries to grab it, but then Dog Pound finds him, grabs him, and then a big fight happens between Dog Pound and Mikey almost falls into the tank of mutagen, and then Dog Pound Mikey just kicks him, and Dog Pound falls in, and then he becomes Razar. So Razar was in the Ninja Turtles 2 movie. He was kind of stupid in that movie. He didn't he didn't really have much strength at all. I'm not trying to say anything bad here, just saying. And he was also in the 80s cartoon. I never saw that episode of him in it. But this full-on appearance of Razar is really awesome. Like, it's a total upgrade. We find out what happens if a mutant gets double mutated. They just become stronger in a different, appearance. Now he looks like a werewolf, a bigger dog, like a werewolf. And he has, claws and everything. He's like... And Bradford's just like, ooh, thank you for this transformation. I feel like a ninja again. And then Mikey's almost gets slammed because if he hits a bunch of things, his zits will just pop him, explode him. And I always felt the zits were kind of gross. They just looked like they were just coming out of his body. It's even on his tongue. It's very gross. I think it was meant to be. But then later, the Turtles do rescue Mikey. They finally listen to Mikey, even when Mikey was bummed that they don't listen to him. And then Donnie's like, what happened to Dog Pound? He's just like, he got double mutated. Even Baxter and Fishface were kind of shocked that Bradford fell into it. Honestly, you kind of get used to how these characters appear. Once you see them, you go, oh, this is Razar. You'll get used to what Dog Pound looks like as Razar. You just honestly forget that he was Dog Pound. They felt like two separate characters. Even Chris Bradford himself. Free incarnations, basically. And so, I think the Turtles do defeat them, and Mikey worries that the centrifuge almost got destroyed, but Raph grabbed it in the nick of time and electrocuted all of them, and then it looks like Baxter's going to be in future episodes. And I can't wait to talk about the next Baxter-centered episode. Well, he's not really centered in this episode, he's in it, but you get the point. And so, they use the centrifuge to cure Mikey, he then gets all super clean, and then Splinter's just like, hey, I'm glad you learned your lesson, and then Donnie jokes about Mikey having a zit, and then Mikey's just like, I'm gonna get you, Donnie, and then the episode ends. So that's, Mikey gets shellized. It wasn't like a filler episode. We finally get some stuff with the Foot Clan. It was kind of just a simple episode, exploring the mutagen in a different way. We see different aspects of it, basically. We also see that it's also nice to see a Mikey-centered episode. This episode was definitely iconic for me. So, I don't know what the next episode is. I think it's Target April O'Neil. I can't wait to talk about that episode. So, with that said, thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.